Greetings wherever you are around the world. You're watching Daraz live. Today we are going to talk about something we cherish wholeheartedly. It holds a significant part in our adult lives as well, and we would give the world to go back, wouldn't we? It's nothing but about childhood, about children. That is our topic of discussion for today. And to talk about this topic, we have three organizations who have partnered up with Daraz Cares and Daraz Donates to ensure that the future of children in this present day and age is indeed a safe one. To my immediate left, we have Monroe Jayasuri, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Leeds. And to his left, we have Mihiri Pereira, who is the Communications Coordinator of Child Action Sri Lanka. And to my far left, we have Gayantha Dalpadadu, the Director of Fund Developments and Communications, SOS Children's Village, Sri Lanka. Welcome to Daraz, lady and gentlemen. My first question is to Mr. Monroe. Leeds was formed in response to a natural disaster in Sri Lanka some time back. How did you evolve from being a responder to a natural disaster in the country to creating a safer and brighter future for children here in Sri Lanka?
Thank you for having us on this panel and for this timely discussion. So Leeds had its humble beginnings from 1978, where we were very well known as a relief organization. But in the year 1995, we took a little bit of a turn when the tourism industry was booming in Sri Lanka. There was an increased caseload of prostitution, child abuse, and exploitation. So at that time, Leeds wanted to be a voice to the voiceless, and we wanted to create that awareness on child prostitution, child abuse, and to see what we can do. Because we wanted to do something holistic, and that was the beginning, and that was the change where we are now working, creating safer spaces and brighter futures for the children in Sri Lanka, where we work holistically in preventing child abuse and also working with restorative care models with the survivors of abuse.
Splendid. Mihiri, the very first Child Action Sri Lanka Center was set up in a rented basement in Kandy with 8 children in your care. Can you briefly explain how your journey has been thus far from that humble point onwards?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and talk about the work that we are doing in the country. Yes, so we've come a very long way from that basement in Kandy. Right now we have 7 locations around the country, and our goal is to be in every district in Sri Lanka in the near future. We have currently over 1,200 children that are registered with us around all our centers. So from the very beginning, our vision or our mission has been to transform lives of children. So that's what has been our goal in all the work that we do at our centers, and it has been amazing to see how these lives are transforming. For example, we have past pupils who are now in the police force. We have just recently a girl that did her A-levels, she got into medical. So I mean, our center staff has been working with her, making sure she passes her A-levels and things like that. And we have another child who's the first to work in an office from her family. So all these children are coming from backgrounds where their grandparents and parents have been in poverty. And our goal has been to make sure that these children, that they are the ones that break that, and that they bring their family out of poverty for themselves and also for their families and as well, so they can be productive citizens to the country and contribute towards our economy as well. So keeping that in line, we provide education, we provide meals, child rights and protection, we advocate in that area as well. And we also have other projects that we started. So for example, we celebrated 15 years last year, and with that we launched an app called Calme app, which is to provide access to emergency numbers. So that's an app anyone can download from Android, and it also, you can, if you have something to donate, you can let us know through that app as well, and we can get that to a family or a school or someone that needs that particular item. And we have other initiatives like shelter homes as well, which we are keeping children that don't have a house to go back to. So from that initial start from 8 children, we have expanded around the country in a vast scale.
Those are indeed heartwarming stories to hear, and I'm sure we will have more to share later on in the conversation. Gayantha, the international organization, was founded in 1949, sometime back, 1 year after Sri Lanka got independence. SOS Children's Villages is now the largest non-profit organization in the world dedicated to safeguard children without parental care. Let's talk about the humble beginnings of the Sri Lankan office. Now it's been 41 years. Where are we now? Where were we earlier?
Yes, thank you for inviting at a time that we actually need people. So, as you said, one of the largest organization, non-profit organization who works for children. And the beginning was 1949 back in Austria, and by Dr. Hermann Meiner, who was our founder. And for the last 71 years, it has been coming through with all difficulties, with 138 countries and territories. And in Sri Lanka, we established in 1981. And the first village was established in Piliyandala, and then we moved to Nuwara, Galle, Anuradhapura, Monaragal and Jaffna. Currently we have about 900 children who's actually living in all these families, and the difference is that we give them a mother. So in one house, 8 to 10 children can live in one house, and we are giving the children a second chance to live in a family environment. So we have been working closely with the other communities also. So SOS Children's Village is not only organization who take care of children who's actually abandoned or lost parents, but we are working with children who's having a risk of losing parental care with our family strengthening program. And
if I'm not mistaken, there's a brother, there's a sister in the family as well, and that is what puts everything together. Am I correct?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's how SOS works. Where we are the authorized organization in Sri Lanka who to keep all the siblings together.
Right.
Otherwise, the girl goes to a different child institute and a boy goes to another. So we keep them together. So that is what our nature is all about, and that is how we have been working with. And at the same time, as I said about supporting the community, because we really feel that children should live in a biological family, not in an institute. So we support these families also to make sure that they live together. And we have been doing projects even for tsunami. We have built about 977 homes in Paralia, and or when there is a disaster or when there is a need in the country, SOS always come and plays a major role by supporting. This is with the international support that we have. And when you talk about children, they can do up to their O levels and A levels, even the university students. And I would say we do offer scholarships also for children who's actually having difficulties financially, where I'm proud to say that we have a student who's working for NASA, we have taken him to SOS, and currently he's working, so we are proud to say that. And he will be back soon in Colombo, and he also wanted to support back to his place where he was built.
Basically grew up in.
Yeah, exactly. And 41 years is a huge time, and we have been doing projects for 41,000 children, and right now we have about 15,000 children who have gone out from the location, who have been gone to the society. And I must again mention Mr. Mahanama, who has been a brilliant worker, who's very credible person in Sri Lanka, and he have been supporting us throughout. And the other ambassador is Pooja Umashankar. Currently she is not available in Sri Lanka for a long period, but we have discussions, and along with that we always try to make sure that the crisis will not hit the children's dreams.
With that, let's talk about the challenges that your respective organizations face, given the political and the economic climate this country is going through right now. First of all, Monroe, tell me, the economic situation in Sri Lanka at present has put a stop to so many things in the country right now, and the brunt borne by children has definitely fallen to the deaf ears of the authorities. Are there any new projects in place at the behest of your organization to help children in these trying times?
Actually, if you take the past 2 years with the COVID-19 pandemic and coming onto the economic crisis, it's the children who were affected badly. So with that context, we have started few new projects conducted by Leeds, and we do this in three mainstream areas.
Right.
One is on food security, the other one is on psychosocial support, and the third one being supplying medical equipment and medical supplies to hospitals.
Right.
So if you take the food security part of it, we started off with giving dry ration vouchers to low-income families where there are survivors of abuse, handicapped children, and also women-headed households where there are children who is partly in the family as well. So apart from that, also when we do our visits in the community level, when we go and speak to the schools and the principals, the first thing that they tell us is, can we do something for the school children? Because there is a huge drop in school attendance mainly due to the fact that they don't have food to eat. They come to school empty stomach, and they faint at school, and also the schools also can't afford to give them a meal. So in that context, we started a pilot project in the Western Province, a school feeding program where we gave a midday meal to the school children 3 days a week.
Right.
And that was a huge success. And then now we have developed that, and we have moved into the districts of Hambantota and Ratnapura, where we are providing us a meal a day 3 days a week for these children, as well as another initiative on food security itself. We have started a community kitchen in our Leeds premises itself, with the help of Leeds staff and IDEA volunteers, where we provide a full meal 2 days a week for the children, community children in the Hivala and Mount Lavinia areas. Also, we do a lot on advocacy and awareness trainings on child abuse, on awareness on education, nutrition, because in every dry ration voucher we give them a leaflet on saying how to protect your child. So I think with this, in this context, with parents being so busy, and then with all that is happening, that is also another area. On supplying medical items to hospitals, we have been focusing on, especially on children hospitals, where there has been a massive need, where the daily surgeries has come to a halt, where the daily supply of medicines had come to a halt. So we had provided the needed medical supplies and equipments to the Colombo General Hospitals. Especially children's hospitals.
Right.
And also on psychosocial needs, we have been supporting on psychosocial needs for 50 community development centers. And also we have been training the government officers so that they in turn can take over and then train the rest of the community development centers as well. So these are few of the projects that we have started newly, giving the current context of the country, just to safeguard our children.
Splendid to hear. Mihir, it is not a secret that children in underprivileged communities have always struggled to gain access to nutrition, educational resources, and medical care. However, given the current context in our country, this situation sadly and unfortunately have taken a turn for the worse. What steps has Child Action Sri Lanka taken to mitigate this situation at present?
So, Child Action Lanka's vision has always been to mediate in those three aspects when it comes to a child. So, education, health and nutrition, and protection. So, with the current context, back in 2020, with the initial lockdowns, what we realized was there were some children who were in danger in their own houses, or they didn't have a house to go back to. So as an immediate response to that, we started our shelter home, which has a few kids in it now, and we provide them access to education, we provide them a house, and they have a family unit there now, and they are protected, and they have a safe upbringing there. And as a response to the current food crisis, so what we realized is, it's well known that if a child doesn't get the nutrition that they need, they can't focus and they can't study. And with the fuel crisis and the food crisis, parents opt to not to send their child to school because they know they can't send a meal for that child that
easy
day.
Option.
Yes, the easy option is to keep them home and maybe engage them in also their work and the labor, looking after the siblings, because it's easier for them. Because if you send them to school, you have to prepare a meal separately for all of them. But if they're home, you can do something small, and that would be easier for them. But that correlation, it's a very dangerous correlation that education, because you're deprived of education, you're deprived of a future as well. So as a response to this, we started our Cup of Milk project. So goal of this is to in the coming months to be able to have this project running in all districts in Sri Lanka. At the moment we are running it in Kandy. So this is where we give a cup of milk to children in selected schools for every week for 4 continuous weeks. So it's not the final solution, but it's an immediate response to the hunger that these children are facing. So right now we've distributed over 4,000 cups in Kandy, and due to some requests that we have gotten, we are starting in Nuwara as well, and we are hoping to expand to Colombo and to other districts as well with this project. First goal is for 10,000 cups, but we are trying to aim towards 170 cups by the ending of that project, and we want to continue it continuous for the following years as well, and make sure it's a project that we can continue. And in terms of, I think, education and even food distribution, so we have distributed food packs, dry rations, essential needs to families from the children that come to our centers and to the surrounding communities as well, which is something that we have always been doing, but this year we felt that there is a need for us to maybe do more. So we have been collaborating with sponsors so that we can provide more for these children. And also when it comes to school essentials also, people are now not going to buy children the books and the stuff that they need to go to school. So we have projects in place that are giving children the school essentials that they need, like uniforms and shoes, so they can go back to school and not drop their attendance in school as well. So those are just some basic things that we have happening. But of course at our centers we have the food program that we always run, the education program, and also the protection work that we do. Staff has been going out to schools and to other communities to educate parents and schools and children about child safety, which is a major concern these days in our country. So we have been working in those aspects as well to make sure that the child as a whole, that their future is not compromised and they are not compromised as well.
Gantha, your organization has undertaken approximately about 39 projects at the moment, and about 4,000 children are under your care. Are there any special projects underway right now against the dire economic straits in Sri Lanka? Anything that you would mention?
Yes, of course. Now, supporting all the children who are actually in the villages are continuously happening, and the 3,500 children are there almost in the family strengthening programs, as well as with the Sri Lanka Pediatric Association. We have started another program for malnourished children. So we have identified about 300 children initially in Nuwara district, and what we are trying to do is support them with dry rations packed every month. And if we identify any child in a family who's malnourished, then the whole family will be treated.
Right.
Other children along with the other children in that family, and at the same time we will be providing them all the support needed for education, and that is also provided. So this is actually a humanitarian assistant project which we are currently planning and doing. And since SOS is not only a planning organization but an implementing organization, we have been doing it. And at the same time, all these children who's actually couldn't go to school due to the crisis, or probably maybe due to poverty, are supported with we provide them everything like school bags, the stationaries, and the daily meal. Every 5 days a week we provide them a good meal. And we make sure that children don't go hungry. And that is one area that we are looking at. Even though we are working for children who's actually in the villages, the same time we want to make sure that children who are actually at a risk also getting supported. So that's why we are launching certain campaigns and all, even with the difficulties we have. And from our international organization also have identified the crisis situation, and we have been given certain funding, which is not everything will be covered, but that is the reason why we want the local income or local expenditure to be covered also. And at the same time, we are looking at the SOS mothers who are not married and having children, so they also have a retired mother's home, and we provide them all the medical support as well, because they are the only people who's actually getting benefit like this from the organization for the work that they have done. They have some of the mothers, they have about 20 to 30 children in their service period, so it's our duty to take care of them when they are older. And it's a family, I would say. So all the children who's actually the caregivers, they always come to the village when there is a need, or even to just see their mother and go. And caregivers also having difficulties these days, and we are a family. Even though they are about 20 or 30, 35 age, still they are our family, and we support them also. Some of them lost their jobs, some of their businesses went down, and still we provided them all the facilities, and even the university students are getting supported, and all the benefit goes to the child. So that is the number one area that we are looking at. Whatever the funds that we receive, it definitely goes to the child's betterment.
It's really interesting to hear, and I'm very happy to hear that so much work is put in during these tough times to safeguard our future in this country, that is children. Monroe Leeds has a specialized team of mental health practitioners and equipped caregivers to provide for the psychosocial needs of survivors of child abuse. Very interesting. Tell me a little bit about that.
So what we do when it comes to child abuse mechanisms is we believe that we need to have a holistic model, and we need to have it in an evidence-based model as well. So taking that into consideration, we follow a very restorative care model, which includes counseling, so family strengthening, legal support, integration support, and as well as follow-ups. So it's not only mere giving a child just counseling, but it's a holistic approach that we look into all aspects of the child's life. And also because it's a very technical model that we are working on, we always make it a point to use professionals and who have the knowledge and the qualifications to address and deal with the children. And as you know, because it's a very sensitive topic, it's something very personal to these children, it has to be there has to be a lot of learning that has to happen. So we need to know what the next step would be, the new techniques, the new learnings that are in the field. So our mental health practitioners and care workers are always up to date and developing on the knowledge that they have, so that in turn we can serve these children in a better way. Also, every week the mental health practitioners and the team get together and they assess each and every case that we are dealing with. so that we can give that individual support, individual assessment, and we can give that needed support to that child. So it's even though we are dealing with high numbers, we treat every case on a very individual level, and we give and provide that individual care to that needed child, because we are talking about traumatized children who are coming to us. So that's a little bit about what the mental health practitioners and the care workers do.
Right. Miri, Child Action Lanka fundamentally operate in the following departments, and those are education, child protection, health, and nutrition. Can you briefly explain as to how CAL contribute in each of these departments?
Yes, so why we focus on those three is because that's what makes a child a whole person, because all three aspects needs to be fulfilled in order for them to have a better future. So in terms of education, we provide them free education at our centers. We have preschools at our centers. So these are children who can't maybe afford to go to a preschool, or the parents don't have the necessary funds to support that. So these children, they get quality education at our centers, and we focus on employable education. So not just teaching them the basics or the syllabus, but making sure that they have the resources that they need when they enter school to be able to study. And from school onwards, we have kids who come after school and they stay at our centers. So we focus on giving them extra classes on subjects like science, maths, IT, and English, because that's what bridges the gap between a child from a well-off family and a child that's coming from an underprivileged family. That the knowledge of IT and knowledge of English. So we ensure that the children with us have that resource that they need. So after their O-levels and A-levels, when they start working, that they have that strength as well, and they have that under their resources. So in terms of health and nutrition, we provide breakfast at our centers, and also lunch, and a malt drink and a snack before they go home as well, because like we discussed before, so right now children don't have access to food in their own houses, and we've seen a spike in registrations because of this also, because the parents know we give them the meal, so they know at least one meal for the day is covered at the center. So we are getting a lot of registrations now as well, because parents have realized that we can fulfill that need for them as well. And in terms of child rights and protection, apart from the shelter home that we have, we also advocate for child rights. We submit proposals to the government, and we also work on creating awareness and advocating, not just for the children in our centers, but also children in government schools and organizations also. So if someone wants us to come and talk about child rights and protection to their employees, that's something we do as well, because the community as a whole needs to know the issues that children are facing, and the community needs to know what solutions are there for children as well. And we have different programs like the science of safety programs that we have at our centers as well. So we try to teach that to the communities and to the local schools as well.
Gayantha, we spoke about this briefly during the program, but to talk about it extensively, your approach towards ensuring that children in your care are safe is quite different to many other organizations. This concept of creating a family, can you talk about it a little bit more and apprise our viewers as to what it exactly entails?
Yes, I think what we do is something which is similar at our homes. There is a mother. So this mother take care of all the children she gets from the probation authority and through courts. And the children who are under care in that particular home, boys and girls stay together as a family. So they are siblings. And once they are 18, the girls, they are 18, they will be moved to another location under our care, which is the girls' facility. It's like a place where the children can study if they are university students, and if they have started any job, they can do the same thing. And for boys, after 14 years, they will be transferred to a youth boys facility, because when you are 14 years, we wanted to minimize the risk inside homes. Because they live together, and we do that. And these mothers, of course, they are not married, but as I explained earlier, and they, until their retirement, they work with these children. And of course, it's a family, so the marriages happens, and we all are the aunts and uncles, and we all participate for their weddings. And even my national director, who is Mr. Divakar Ratnadore, who have been there in the SOS for the last more than 30 years. He have been a father for more than 40 children. He have given his name, and that is the beauty of it. Some of the children comes to SOS without knowing their proper names or age. So early it was like that, and then we have to do all those things, and that is why we are a family always. And in this family there are always good apples and bad apples also.
Yeah.
So like a family, right? So that is always encouraging us also to make sure that we have to do something for their children. And even the children who's got married, they also come to the village. Always they come here and play around with the other children, and they stay 1 or 2 days and go. So if you come to West Children's Village, any of the village, you will, in these homes, you will see all the wedding photographs and all. So it's totally a family. And in this family, they have a network of children, and this network have gone far, where they have started another society or a network called GNGN, which is Generation Never Give Up Network. This was actually started from SOS Children's Village, and right now there are more than 500 children across the island in different childcare institutes, not only SOS. So they got together and they are fighting for their rights, which is really needed, because why they are here in these organizations is not because of their fault. Maybe a disaster, maybe parents' negligence, they came, so it's not their fault. So now they are fighting for their rights, saying that to change their birth certificate maybe, and maybe when they are going for institutes, or maybe they are applying for visa applications, they face a lot of problems. So they are together now, talking about it in public, and that is what is actually needed. So we have built a culture in the villages or in our network. The children are going to a level where we always identify their requirements and capabilities. When they are in grade 7, we have a program for them, which is child development plan. So the village director, the mother, the child, even the school teachers, the village educational director, everyone is involved to make sure to have a plan for their future, whether they have to do they have to go to university, whether they need vocational training facility, or whether they can doing dancing, music, whatever their talents will be identified, and through that we develop them. And I forgot to tell about our vocational training center also, which we won the best vocational training center in 2019 in Sri Lanka, and this was actually identified. We have a lot of areas that we are covering, and last 2 years we won the best NGO for women empowerment awarded in Sri Lanka at top 50 women association in Dubai also. This is for the work that we do for children, as well as women empowerment, and of course again family strengthening.
Right. Just before we move on to the last round of questions, Gayantha spoke about one success story from his organization, and one of the children had gone to NASA. You being the Chief Executive Officer of Leeds, is there any particular success story that you would like to share that has touched you in your years of service in the organization?
I think more than giving one particular stories, I think if I take it as a whole, I think there have been many success stories. One thing is one stories that we have seen is there have been school dropouts. And we have been able to find vocational training for them, so that they will have a future for them. They will be creating leaders for them, and there is a clear pathway for their future. So, and also there have been instances that these children have been institutionalized and they have not been having a family life, right? This is exactly what Kayantha was talking, what they are doing. But we have been through a program that we do, we have been able to integrate these children back into their family, so they have a sense of belonging, a sense of responsibility, sense of care and love given back to them as well. And also there have been children, because of the issues or the abuse that they have taken place, they have been taken out of school. So we have been able to speak to the authorities and then get them back to schooling as well. There have been families, they have been gone their own separate ways because of the trauma that the abuse has caused towards the child. So there have been instances where these families have been reunited for the child's sake. So these are like success stories. That's why I mentioned that it's too much just to mention as one, but these are few of the success stories that we have seen in the work that we have been doing.
Mihiri, anything specific to share, or do you share the same sentiments of
Yes, there has been, like Manoj said, there are a lot of stories when we take organizations together. But I think the main aspect that I have seen is we see the kids coming back as adults to volunteer or to do something. They want to come and start a program. They want to come and teach. There are some kids who have done very well in A-levels, maths particularly, and they are coming back now to teach maths to the children because they know that what they got at the center is something that really gave them their future. In the Kilinochi Center, they started a cricket program at the very beginning because we focus a lot on reconciliation, because a lot of these children came from the war background. Their families have gone through the harshest of the war, and cricket was introduced as a recreational activity so they can focus on that. And there are a lot of kids who have actually thrived from that and got into the provincial teams, and there's one now in Colombo in a club as well. So we are very happy that that has led to that point as well. And there are many stories like that. Another child who has got into nursing now, and so they all come back. And like we say, we are also the CAL family rather than an organization. It's a family environment that we try to create, and we know, we can see that the work that we are doing, the hard labor that our staff is putting in, not by seeing the numbers but by seeing the fact that these kids are coming back and they themselves want to contribute back to the other children who they also want to bring these kids out of their situations as well. So that has been one of the most, I think, uplifting things about working at Child Action Lanka that I have experienced.
Right before we wrap up today's discussion, let's talk about how each of your respective organization, how it has been to work with Daraz in these trying times. It's been over 3 years since Leeds has partnered up with Daraz. How has the collaboration been so far, and how has Daraz Care specifically assisted your organization in reaching your goals?
I think the Daraz partnership has been more than a partnership for Leeds, because especially when you take the passion that the Daraz team has towards the work that we do is tremendous, because it's not mere just a partnership or doing things for the sake of doing, but the team has a passion towards the work that we do, and it comes out of from what you all are doing. It gives a sense of belonging and wanting to do something for the country or for the children of Sri Lanka, so which is really admirable. So that was one factor that we also continued the partnership with Daraz, because we almost share the same sentiments. I think throughout the last few years we have initiated a lot of projects together. I think there has been one project where children has been supplied with the stationery packs and school going packs, We also did a campaign on ending period poverty. Also, there was another project that where you all supported the children who are in respite therapy centers, and also even during COVID times. There was a long-term partnership where you all supported us for the people in quarantine centers as well. So the list is endless. So there has been a very fruitful partnership where we had been blessed to have Daraz partnering with us, so that in turn that the support and the work that we do for the children has been made possible with the partnership that we have been having with Daraz. So I take this opportunity to thank Daraz for the commitment and the passion that you all show towards doing something for the children of Sri Lanka.
Mihiri, Child Action Sri Lanka managed to raise over $3,000 following the launch of Help My Friends campaign on the Daraz Donates platform. What type of a role has Daraz played in helping your endeavor in securing a safe future for all the children of Sri Lanka?
So when it comes to the work that we do rely a lot on donors and sponsors. So I mean, we really appreciate the fact that Daraz stepped in at a crucial junction and gave us a platform at free charge. I mean, you're not earning anything out of this, and we are really amazed that, you know, as an organization, that you all came up with this platform and gave us this opportunity. Like I said, all our funding goes to the children and the projects. So when it comes to, you know, marketing or, you know, creating a platform like this, the fund, especially with the current situation, it's hard to allocate funding for that. So having a partnership with Daraz has really helped us to not only make our work more visible to the communities and make it more easier for people to donate towards our charity, but I also appreciate how sensitive the team has been towards our cause. Even when it comes to sharing a picture of a child, the team has been like, yeah, we don't want to advertise a child's face. I mean, I really appreciate that, because you don't usually get that, I think, in media. But the fact that the team was so they were sensitive towards that, that's something that we really appreciate. And they have always been very supportive, you know, even sometimes messaging in the night as well when I ask for something, or if there's an issue that needs to be resolved in terms of the platform. So the support has been, we are really amazed, and we are and we consider it a blessing to be in a partnership with Daraz as well. We are very, very grateful to the opportunity that Daraz has given us.
Gayantha, your relationship with Daraz is quite fresh at the moment, and against that backdrop, let me ask you as to why you chose to join hands with Daraz, and how has the journey been so far?
Well, actually, when the initial discussion was going on with my team, of course, we identified one thing. Daraz as an e-commerce platform have come up a long way, and how they started, since the beginning I have been one of the Daraz customer.
Right.
So I have been ordering whatever I need. I order through Daraz. So I do have a very good history about Daraz, and the capability that they can do, and the audience they cover. We have seen most of the youngsters, they engage with Daraz. I'm pretty sure that other ages also do with y'all. But in my case, in my office, I do have about 40 members of staff, a huge team who's doing fundraising, and they always order through Daraz. So we identified that, and we thought, okay, it's a good time for the youth or the teens to, engage with the charity work. It can be SOS or it can be other organizations, but the youth have to come up, and they have to understand the situation, and understand their duties as a human being, as a Sri Lankan, how they can contribute. So that's the main part that we thought, okay, you have a very good audience, and it's the best time we also can enroll with you all, so that our news can go viral, or it will be definitely helping us to find donations which we really need at a time like this. So thank you very much, Daraz, for all support given through this few months of period. We have getting progress, and my team is working with you all continuously to make sure that everything goes smoother and all the information are provided to the public.
And that brings us to the conclusion of this wonderful chat we had today. Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen, for engaging in this thoughtful discussion about a very important topic which often put under the radar here in Sri Lanka these days. You can do your part by sending in your kind donations to Daraz Donates by referring to the link below. Once again, let me thank the people who came on the show today. Monroe Jazz Surya, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Leeds, and Mihiri Pereira, Communications Coordinator at Child Action Lanka, and finally Gantha Dalpadadu, Director of Fund Developments and Communications at SOS Children's Village, Sri Lanka. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been Tarusha Kumar Singha. Have a pleasant day.